Hello, BookTube. I've got a fun tag for us today. This has been an oldie tag, but I thought we'll bring it back because it's really fun. This is the historical romance reader book tag. This was created by Peace Love Books XO. Follow her channel. Her and her book club are amazing if you like historical romance. And yeah, let's go through the questions together. I've got the notes on my phone, the prompts and whatever. And so yeah, first question. What was the first historical romance you ever read? I'll go first two pretty much. The first tried and true one I ever read was A Lady of Midnight by Tessa Dare. This was my first one. I read this as a teen and I emotionally was gripped. I've never recovered from Tessa Dare. I love her so much. I literally got to the point where I was doing a book from her a day, and that should show how much I love Tessa Dare. I have a lot of her. I probably have like 6 or 9 of her books, but I've kept the only ones I like that I love, and this is one of them. And so that was the first one. And in terms of like old school historical romance, I done the iconic The Flame and the Flower by Kathleen Woodless. This was my first old school historical romance. I read this before I read Haya, and I kind of like it. It is very of its time, but I think if you meet it halfway, I think you could like it. And so those were the first two I ever read. Question two: what was the last historical romance you ever read? And that for me was An Infamous Army by Georgia Haya. This was set during, oh my god, where was it set? Brussels, occupation, some Battle of Waterloo, sorry. And I never realized Georgia Hare wrote in that time period, and this was really nice. So, and it's Georgia Hare, so the quality level is quite high, to be honest with her. Question three: who was an underrated historical romance author you wish more people read? And for me, that was, I don't know how many, I know she's still, people love her, but I really couldn't find an author because I'm pretty basic when it comes to historical romance. But I just said Susan Enoch. She's lovely. If you haven't heard of her, pick her up because, start anywhere. You don't need a place to start with her. But yeah, I think she's popular, but I just like to throw a name out there again. Question four: who is a historical romance author you haven't read but you want to, but you need to? I've got 3 authors here. The first one I haven't read, I'm amazed I haven't yet, is Anna Bennett. I've got 2 of her books and I just haven't got to her yet, so that's one. And then there's 2 more. The next one's Connie Mason. I've never read Connie Mason. This is the only one I have. This is Lord of the Night. And yeah, I haven't read it yet. And the other one, I have read this author, but I haven't read enough, and that's Barbara Cartland. She's kind of bad, but I feel like whenever I see her, because I rarely see her secondhand, because I don't think people read her anymore. I pick her up whenever I get the chance, just because there may be one that I like, but she is very much a poor man's Georgia Hare, in my opinion. Anyway, question five. What historical romance would you recommend to people who are new to the genre? For me, I'm trying to think. I would say The Duke and I. So pretty much just the Bridgerton books and Tessa Dare. You could do any of them, and yeah. So Tessa Dare and the Bridgerton books, and I don't know, just do them. Just check any. I'm bad with recommendation, like where to start. That's not my cup of tea. um, What's next? Question six. What is your favorite historical romance of all time? There are a lot of competition here, but I narrowed it down to 3. The first one I picked again was the Bridgerton books. I love all of them except for books 5 and 6. I didn't like those 2, but the rest are iconic, and you should read them if you do love historical Regency romance. Then my next favorite, I picked 3, but Tessa Dare's When the Scot Ties the Knot. Iconic. I was swooped the whole time. Pick it up if you haven't, because this is one of the greatest things ever written in the English language. And then my third one, this is like a channel, like I mention it all the time, but it's Sylvester by Georgia Hare. One of the funniest romances I've ever read. And yeah, pick it up if you haven't. What's next? Question 7. Do you prefer new or old just historical romances? I like both. I love the old school historicals because they're more historically accurate for their time periods. Most of them are, but I feel like the newer ones of the last like 20 years are so much more lighthearted and just fun. They don't get bogged down by like I don't know time periods and all that. I feel like they're just more fun to read, to be honest. But I love both, to be honest. I don't care, to be honest. Which one, what era it's from. Question 8. What are your favorite historical romance tropes? And I wrote a list out. I love road trip misadventures when they go on a journey and stuff goes wrong. Second chance, but only if there are external factors that got them like they had to separate at the start. So think of like a persuasion where like it wasn't them deciding they're gonna break up and get back together. It was like outside circumstances that made them break up, and so I like that. Um, Falling for the best friend sibling. That's a lovely trope. Childhood best friends to lovers. I love that. Lovable rogue. Iconic. We love it. A duel. I do like a bit of a duel in a romance. It comes out of nowhere and it can be quite fun. And obviously the iconic mistaken identity or like secret identity. I never recovered because Georgia Hayer does that a lot, and also Rean Shakespeare, he does that a lot in his more like romantic comedies too. Question 9. What are your favorite historical romance settings? I'm not fussed. I'll happily read a historical romance wherever. To be honest, I don't have one specific setting, but anywhere, pretty much. 10. What is the oldest historical romance you own? And I got two here. I have a massive stack. I've talked about how much Georgia Hay I have, and I have a lot of her old mass markets. This was like printed in the 60s, so long before I was born. And I do have this old Barbara Cartland, the only Cartland I have. And this is literally from 1952, and it's like still kind of holding up, and I'm kind of surprised. But those are two of the oldest ones I have. The rest I have are from like the 80s or like reprints, so they don't really count as much, I think. Um, what's next? Question 11. What is your favorite step back to own that you own? My personal favorite. This is a new one I have, and I haven't had a time to read this, but just I saw it. It was literally for free, and I picked it up. This is Elaine Barbary. Well, I can't say her name, but here it is. Look how iconic that is. You got the side, then you got the back. This is like a Western romance, like yeah, like Texas and from the South maybe. What I don't know what year this came out. Hold on. 2001. This came out, and I love step backs too because if you got open this tiny cover here, you get the lovely insider drawing too, which is very lovely as well. And this is the first like romance like mass market I've seen that has advertising midway through, and it's got like a sign up here to get. I've never seen that before, and I was like, was this a trend that I never noticed? Like get 4 books totally free, a value of $21.96. I think maybe I should sign up for that just to see, what 20 something years later. Why not? But yeah, so that's my favorite right now. And after that, number 12. What is a historical romance release that you're excited for? Again, I noticed I mentioned this in my last vid, but I'm so pumped for the new Sabrina Jeffries. Hazardous to a Duke's Heart comes out in literally like less than 2 weeks. Sound the alarms. I'm emotionally and mentally ready for that to read it. And yeah, last question, 13. What are some creators do you follow for historical romance recommendations? My first one that really got me into historicals was obviously Mara from Books Like Woe. I love her channel. Sarah the Bookish Knitter when she talks about historicals. Steve, obviously, Steve Donahue. And those like the main three, but again, there's so many because I love the community because it's just so, and it's, I don't know, it's just fun. And so yeah, that was the historical romance reader book tag, and yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. But If you like this tag, please feel free to do it. It is a bit old, but why not bring it back because it's lovely. And yeah, let me know if your thoughts on any of the books I've mentioned in the comments. And yeah, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching BookTube, and I'll see you next time.